So I want to thank Old Scary World for having such an awesome video that I can pontificate theories, ideas, hypotheses, and mysteries of the realm. Go over to his channel and check him out. Welcome Old Worlders, realm researchers, newcomers, subscribers, and people who don't like these kind of videos. Thanks for watching. Anything I say here could turn out to be baloney, plain and simple. I think it's possible, and I always have, that the whole old photos are blurry because people are moving is a hoax. I remember it didn't make sense even as a kid when I was told that in school. Yeah, we learned that in school, and it just didn't sit right for me. I think it's a convenient excuse for amateur photo manipulation. I doubt cameras, dark rooms, alchemy are new to this realm. Well, maybe to the reset part of it anyway. It just wasn't a perfected technique by the robber barons. Now, that brings up 2 points of view. One, some old worlders have built a narrative on horrible, fat-bellied gin blossom inheritors that killed everyone and bombed out a lot of the realm, with ambitions of greed, power, corruption, single-handedly with their own intuition and wit came across cameras, trolleys, ether-gathering grids, steam power, batteries, lasers, medical vadecum, sound or frequency technology, advanced energy storage, engineering apparatus, tooling machines, and manufacturing facilities, not to mention huge printing presses in operation once upon a time to print things like blueprints, instruction manuals, mechanical drawings of giant buildings, flying transport, cars, boats, balloons, and stuff we've never heard about. Imagine the technical manuals, plans, and blueprints that needed to be absolutely precise to erect bridge pillars in deep water. Now that's a lot of stuff to figure out with a crew of even a couple 100,000 people, right? And we haven't even scratched the surface of how to fire this stuff up, never mind use it adequately, which in turn would make the robber barons ineffective amateurs or worse of all the tech that they found here. It just doesn't make sense that the robber baron dummies jumped off a vessel with a gun and a whip and declared, "Oh, let's control this broken down civilization and confiscate all the riches strewn around." Now, I'd like to say that this narrative could be classified as flip psychology. Now, here's a second viewpoint. It's just a string of thoughts that happens when I'm researching. Do I know? No. Maybe some noble men of renown or gods from the majestic old world were still around after whatever happened. And the inheritors knew them. Or the inheritors found survivals right here on this mud-sunken derelict landmass. One or both of these groups may have showed the inheritors the basics of the tech, what it does or what it used to do. Now let me throw this out there because the realm, it seems to me, was empty for a long time. Maybe eons. I don't know. Now we see this in photos, desolate areas and cities void of any living entities in the streets, some scaffolding around one building, a lot of broken brick, wood ladders, incomplete, huge, wide dirt roads, which clearly were not always dirt. Because the first thing that has to happen is the tech that was already here, half running, burnt out or melted, or overheating from running way too long with no maintenance. It needed to be inspected, evaluated. Only one who understands the machine can give you an accurate report on its status. After an extensive inspection and surveillance period, the task of what can be used safely or needs fixing, repaired, and then tested again, and then reappropriated. In some cases, destroyed or incapacitated technology that could be dangerous or fatal in its current state of disrepair had to be assessed by the inheritors, and the few that remembered the technological Americas. See, the reconstruction was no easy feat, and possibly an epic frame of time. Maybe that's what we refer to as the Dark Ages. I don't know. It's just mysteries of the realm. So what I'm thinking here is the inheritors may not have been the evil, horrible entities. Because I don't believe the construction of this realm after a catastrophic event was willy-nilly one tiny bit. This is a huge undertaking in an extensive time period to get the realm back up and running. I may even pontificate that help came from entities that knew about the old America, or lived in old America, or built the once great amusement park, America. Now from here on out, I'd like you to look at America as an amusement park, and that way you'll be able to follow me better. It's an old amusement park, and the inheritors may have had the best intentions to get the amusement park, or America, at the very least powered up to sustain some quality of existence. It's possible that powerful entities and men of renown educated the inheritors and the survivors. Maybe the inheritors were actually pupils of the powerful entities, men of renown, and the great knowledge and wherewithal that they had, and they weren't dastardly robber barons. It does ring true to me that good, solid entities of integrity, moral stature, and vast economic estate were still around in the realm after whatever damage this realm suffered. Here's what I mean. Suppose the pupils found the Americans and saw it in a state of ruin. They may have went to the men of renown or the gods to get permission to bring the amusement park back to a livable state of repair. The wise men, the wizards, gods, and the old librarians gave the pupils much to contemplate. The inheritors, who in turn became students of the great knowledge and began repairing the park. Now that's going to take some time. And that's an understatement, right? Because if we're to believe anything from the pictures and the telling of the history of the reset was a huge endeavor, and the actual human entity has changed a couple times. There seems to be a couple different styles of buildings and technologies, and some of this stuff isn't that old. And you know what? Those pupils might be carved in Mount Rushmore. I wouldn't know. It's a pontification. Now, let's talk about the robber barons. The robber barons may have been opportunists, and they convinced the pupils that they would continue the finishing touches of the amusement park. Then they waited till the maintenance men died. The barons themselves had no first-hand knowledge of the technology, but they did live here. They weren't oblivious to the technology. See, they got a hold of the half-done amusement park and didn't bother putting any energy or resources into the broken rides. They just dumped them. So what we may be seeing and living in is a land that was ready and fertile and waiting to be plugged in. But the barons never plugged it in, and it started falling apart again after a long stretch of time. So it seems to me they waited until all who remembered and took part in the rebuilding of the amusement park vanished in time. And time was all they needed. They had technology to wait it out. They kept their secret of future control and future bloodline families right here on this land. The barons waited out the living pupils and families of the old reset or reconstruction. The barons passed down the knowledge of domination to each grandson who carried out the mission. Again, playing the long game. All of this might be horseshit, but one thing I can put a bet on is that this bloodline waited a long friggin' time to carry this out. 'Cause like I said, the amusement park, or let's just say America, was dilapidated by the time they kicked in their plans. But some of the old world is pretty new, you know? So I don't know when this happened. When they needed people to populate the area, they fired up the incubators, and that's how you own somebody. You made them. And you claim that on papers and court documents, and then you get the parents to sign off, and it's a done deal. Now, one rules and controls over everyone. Legally. And it's no coincidence that most barons are lawyers. No, it isn't. One sets up a situation where everyone you made is living a crappy existence. Keep them living on the streets, in makeshift barracks, and eating hell knows what. So the slaves grow up through generations of so-called families that relied on the made-up government. And now your incubator babies and your new arrivals think it's always been this way. And to the people of the new land, they never knew anything else anyway.